There we go. Okay. Ooh. Where is it? Monkey.
Oh, gather round, ye mortals bold, from mist and brine and tales untold, where canvas breeze and colors flow. Welcome to painting good. Sir Bias perch upon the dung, it must be wrong. But she be charged and songs be sung. No timid brush, no timid crew. We paint like thunder splitting through. He is defender who hath divine, born of ink and turpentine, samurai heart with Irish grin, lets the living ether in. He doesn't plan, he doesn't try, he squints one eye, charge a key, one fearless stroke, the sky turns blue, and dragons hatch from painting goo. Fortune egg. Open up inside, it says, trust the flow, don't overthink. Follow the ether of ink. Let spirit guide the paw and ink, while Boris grinds ink with teeth. Strike like a tiger, swift and true, just like Garlos would do. From Germany clan, he leads the way with honor, sharp as...
I prayed the wrong one.
Gather round, ye mortals bold, from mist and brine and tales untold, where canvas breathes and colors flow. Welcome to
Painting good.
Tobias perch upon the dong, it must be rung. For chibi charge and songs be sung. No timid brush, no timid crew. We paint like thunder splitting through. He's defender who half divine, born of ink and turpentine. Samurai heart with Irish grin, lets the living ether in. He doesn't plan, just do don't try. He squints one eye, charge a chi, one fearless stroke, the sky turns blue, and dragons hatch from painting buck, 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 cock, midnight laid a fortune egg. Open up inside, it says, trust the flow, don't overthink. Follow the ether of ink. Let spirit guide the paw and see what Boris grinds ink with teeth. Strike like a tiger, swift and true, just like Garlos would do. Step to the mic, he sets the tone with Mazzo's crisp meatball calzone. Italian gravy, grape drink too, broadcasting live. Microphone is here with you. From Japanese clan, he leads the way with honor. Sharp as katana, spray through stormy doubt and ego stew. He creates life inside of you. So raise your brush like battle axe. Let go of fear and pigment cracks. Let honor rise from cosmic dew and roar it loud.
Greetings, my beloved Aponida, and welcome to another glorious episode of Painting Goo. Don't forget to pay the monkey so he doesn't go hungry. Indeed, much honor must be given to our former enemy, Myro the magical monkey. He may have been sent to strangle me, but now he plays music for us all. How glorious things can change, especially when you defeat your enemies and dip them in petrification fluid and force them to play the piano for you. Anything is possible if you believe in your own abilities. Right, first things first, orientationu for the painting. Micah. Right. Huh? Glorious. Right, happy Tuesday. My throat is still feeling a little bit off, so I will be toning down the today. Glorious agua. Right. We have a new tuna based on the incredible story of Reckless Bennu. Reckless Bennu.
Empires tremble. Yet one question remains. Where are my Legos? The world burns down in real-time feeds. Kings fall hard to corruption and greed. Floods and panic, economies bend, but not compared to the quest of pain. Contracts signed in black and white. Now the internet gears up for the fight. Every excuse gets dragged through the flame. Spotlights burning. Remember the name. Whatever lies you choose to compose, you'll drag the truth from under the clothes. Digging deeper, there's nowhere to hide. You started the ride, now enjoy the slide. contract was signed. Have you no honor, or have you lost your mind? You keep digging that hole deeper. The whole world wants you gone. You creeper, give him back his Legos. The internet has spoken. Wars rage on and the markets crash. Leaders stumble while currency slash. But somehow this tale steals every show. A mountain of plastic and the debt still owed. Hero or menace, depends who you ask. Chaos online becomes the task. Ben keeps pushing where others falter. These strange stories into comedy gold. Full surge mode. No breaks left on this road. Receipts, screenshots, rabbit holes. Every shovel digs that hole. This timeline is broken. History remembers wars, financial collapse, empires reduced to dust. But one mystery remains. Give the man his Legos.
Listen to the man and give the old fella his Legos back. The internet has spoken. The public square has risen. The general consensus is you fuckheads need to give him his Legos back. Twakeru-sama! Reminds me of Blood Red Head by Big Dumb Face. How dare you speak about my mother like that? I was thoroughly enthralled. Immediately thoroughly enthralled by the story of Ben Reckless trying to get Brian his father's Legos back from what are they called? Bricks and Figs. Fucking hell, what a story. Like when they end up in Utah and it turns out to be blatantly obvious that the local police are all, because they're all Mormon, they're essentially all corrupt. That's fucking crazy. Like totally believable. Like, do you know what I mean? Like completely believable. I don't doubt that for a fucking second. Especially considering their behavior. Like there's no real room left for doubt in that regard. When you can just when you could just observe the behavior of these people, and the fact that the police, American Fork Police or something they're called, doesn't Satan have a fork? You fucking demons. I might be coming down with some fork Blast! I have become tongue-tied. Oh, fuck. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, they're all corrupt wankers. A lot of them. Absolutely obscene behavior. Um, that Josh fella fucking like ringing his cop buddies and them searching the fucking the car that Ben's in for heroin and all, like, for 3 hours. Does it really take 3 hours to take a fucking a good look at a car to see if there's any heroin in it? I mean, I'm pretty sure, fair enough. The female did make the point that they probably had a lot of camera equipment with them or something, like, so maybe a lot of that time was spent searching said camera equipment. But fuck me, like, it just sounds like they could have, within the first like 45 minutes to an hour maybe, um, been fairly satisfied with the reality that there's no fucking heroin in the car, and then they proceeded to just be like attempting to demonically manifest heroin in the car because they didn't want to admit that they're a bunch of fuckheads. But that's what you're dealing with, isn't it? It's like, it's that story to me. Um, I like paused it last night when I was watching it with the missus, and I was like, this is a beautiful example of the times we live in now, where people who, like, all sorts of people that you would typically think are the furthest from corrupt, you know, a company called Bricks and Figs that are um, a middleman between Lego and the customers. Corrupt. Um, the police. Corrupt. the people that work at Bricks and Figs. Corrupt. Like, it's one of the last places that you would think to find such deep rooted corruption, but it's there, and it's fucking disgusting. Like, it's disgusting to see it. Like, Iron Man Baru, welcome. Um, how was Owen's birthday? I heard you were there. Did you have fun? Did you eat kake? I meant to say it to you there the other day, actually. I don't know if I said it to you before, but I didn't know Wobbly's real name. And when you said it to me, I was like, that's so funny. You guys basically have the same name. And I've come across loads of couples that have the same name. Carl, Carla. I suppose John and Jen aren't really the same, but like, that was another couple I came across. Like, Shane and Shannon was another couple I came across. Like, these couples that like essentially have the male and female version of a name, and they're a couple. I just think that's so funny. That's so funny. I suppose one could etymologically make the argument that um, the missus and I have very similar names. Alex means defender, and Emma means healer. So in that regard, similar, but definitely not like on the level of the rest of them, like where they're like pretty much the fucking same. Like, I just think that's so funny, hilarious to me. Like, it's one of those really cool little sinks. Yeah, people can remember our names easier. That's so funny. Like, B-Day was great. Tons of kids. Yeah, I heard there was like 100 kids there. Ah, Dick Fordu. Welcome. Um, the uh, the vibe when you're like when you have a get together, like when we those the few several camping trips that the Irish Bears had before everything went lame and gay. Um, and the group is pretty much all but dissolved. There's like what fucking less than 10 of us left. I did say recently that we should have a meetup, and the consensus generally was, yeah, that'd be great, but like I don't know if it'll happen. Like I said it to the female that I think it's like um, there's a lot of apprehension there, which I get, but then I also don't get because it's like all the people who turned out to be wankers are gone. So why wouldn't you just meet up still? Um, but then it's also like the public domain has gotten like worse, especially in Ireland, since all that kicked off. Where like everything has gotten more expensive. The island is now flooded with much more immigrants, and God only knows if the old couple who owned that camping spot at Beara Peninsula, like for all we know, they're fucking dead. Like at this stage. You're meeting up with Permy and Gardner in Tennessee this weekend? Awesome. That's awesome. All the gatherings here are always a kid fest, different than SF Bay Area. Um, Painting looks very colourful. Yeah, I like it. It's really cartoony. Really cartoony. Most of my shit is very poppy and colourful. I like vibrant, bright colour, especially when it comes to the grass. I love like you need beautifully emerald green grass when you're doing anything with grass in it. Um, Man, I'd love to meet fucking Permy or Gardner in real life. Those are two guys that you could hang out with for a day and learn so much shit. Um, okay. What's printer saying? Don't believe we dined on this. George the Far Right Tomato. Where the fuck? Yeah, I missed that completely. I was right under the reggae mix. No way. George the Far Right Tomato. What the fuck? Oh, like my tomato. I was like, wow, where'd that come from? Yeah, my tomato starts are doing quite well. We have twins, so we started with just four in the window to see if they would take, and they have, and they're growing well. And the fucking the biggest one I call George after that character in Halo who was an absolute monster. In a good way, like Beast, Beefcake, big dude, Chad George, fucking, and then we have two that are pretty much like identical, but then we have two in one of the pots, one of the mini, like you know them starting trays, all the little pots stuck together in one big black sheet like of plastic, like plastic mold thing. And so on the right hand side we have George, and then beside him we have twins, and there's a little runty one, and an even smaller, teeny tiny little runty one, and then we have two ones after that are pretty much the same. But George was the first, and he's huge, relatively speaking to the rest of them. But the twins in the singular pot, I was thinking of like trying to delicately remove the larger one and replant him further down the tray to give the smaller one a fighting chance, because he's teeny tiny and he's been teeny tiny for days now, while the others have grown exponentially. And I think I overwatered them for a few days. Apparently, tomatoes like the soil to be a bit dry, which makes sense because they're not indigenous to Ireland. They're from a hotter climate. Um, but yeah, the meetups, the energy is always like so much better when you have kids there, just like laughing and playing and having a good time in the background, and then playing with the kids too. It's been so long since I was with my family, in that capacity, and it's not like a COVID thing or anything. It was just like my family kind of fell out of general connection. Um, the fallout from my parents getting divorced was a big thing, where like the two families just don't really talk to each other anymore. So I didn't have as much contact with my cousins, and then also the cousins grew up. But I always enjoyed, entertaining children because it's so easy. You can do the simplest shit. You can throw muck at them, and they'll start giggling and throwing muck at each other. Like it's like it reminds you that like you don't need anything to just like have fun, like um one of the camping trips we had, we had this I think it was like some kind of, yeah, it was a blow up sofa that burst. So it just became this like plastic sheet tarp thing that the kids would get on, and then we'd like drag them around on it. And there was like a few lads like my around my age, like late 20s, early 30s. And we were all taking turns getting up from the camp chairs around the fire. We were all taking turns getting up and dragging the kids around on that thing and all. Like it was great, Um, I think that's why it was so like emotionally devastating for like most of us, where like it was so wholesome and was so much fun, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere it turned into this like religious zealotry and really weird energy. Um, like genuinely like really weird energy. Like people like when you've had like multiple times like that kind of hangout with people, where like you're going on trips and you're looking at sites around the camp thing and all that, like, and you're fucking like helping them with their kids, and like from my perspective, like painting things for people and stuff and all, like, and then other people putting in the effort were like making t-shirts and mugs, and like we had our own logo and all, like, and um it was like, I've said this before, it was like so good that I think um like the forces of darkness like really wanted it wrecked, because it was like it got too big too quick and it was too good. Like we would have blown up on social media. We would have like, if it had kept going until now, like there'd be hundreds of us, maybe even thousands, but there definitely be hundreds of us, like, because there was easily 60 of us at the last big one. um and I think that was not including kids. There was like 60 adults, from all over the island, like, and it was pretty psychologically and emotionally devastating to have that much fun with that many people at that time, and then for one fuckhead to be the kind of center node, um, and then like a large portion of them were from Cork, which is a single county, so they were kind of buddy with each other because they were all Catholic and they were all from Cork. Um, so fuck Cork, fuck Catholics and fuck Cork. Like, it's like these people that give groups a bad name are like proper fuckheads, like, in my personal opinion. Um, it's amazing, you can keep them with your, you can make them with your ween. It's like, I know. You love to hear it. I'm working out. I'm working on setting up a summertime bear meetup. Yeah, like the bear meetups are fucking great, because you already have that, like that's why they work out so well so quickly, is because you have that general consensus of like, oh, so we all kind of like think, very similar stuff, and that allows you to like uh mingle like really well and really quickly, because there's loads of like kind of assumptions and predetermined like things that you agree on and all, like. But it's the same with any other group or like meeting new people or anything, like, do you know what I mean? First impressions are first impressions. They like that's what they are. They're first impressions, and then slowly over time, you begin to realize that there's people who are pretending. There's people who are not just pretending but manipulating and lying and faking. Um, and it sucks, but it's reality, and it's how well you can bounce back from that, how well and how quickly you can bounce back from it. And personally, within a few weeks, I was like the following summer. Um, me and the missus were like, because we like camping, we got really into camping. Um, we were like, right, well, let's have a meetup, like, and then it was just us, and then we ended up like chill, like we didn't chill with them, but we had a great interaction with an Indian family, and somebody bought one of my allegedly boards, which was very random and hilarious. Um, but yeah, it's like I think like a lot the ones that are left are going through a lot of personal shit as well. And I know we all have personal shit, like like I've got my own shit going on, fucking. Um, but it's like I don't want to be too harsh on them, but maybe I should. Maybe I should be like, all right, faggots, like, come on, it's about time. It's been like what, 3 years now or some shit like that. Like, um, it is kind of pathetic from like from my point of view. Like, you know what I mean? And I know that might sound a bit harsh, but like, I think it's true. I think it's pathetic that we haven't had a fucking meetup since. It kind of just dissolved. Like we had small ones. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like me and the missus and one other bear. Me and the missus and three or four of them. I think Bravey was there. Papa J was there. Was it just Bravey and Papa J? I'm trying to think. Was there another one? I think it was just Bravey and Papa J, and then me and the missus. But it's pathetic, you know. It's like it's so much. It's so like it's easy to just go. We're meeting up here at this date, like, be there or be square. And I think it's because nobody's like taking the reins with it, um, and being like, right, what are we doing? And part of me thinks I should take the reins and be like, right, we're doing this, we're going here, blah blah, because like most, pretty much all of the people that remain know me fairly well. Like the only one that we haven't met up with in real life yet is Irish Truth Seeker Bear, and part of me doesn't blame her. Um, if she is in fact real, I've never even seen the woman's face. Um, but it's like I relate to Owen's like reluctant warlord thing. Like I don't want the responsibility of a group. I don't want to be in charge. Do you know what I mean? Even like in a loose kind of like just generally vague degree of just setting dates and fucking, we're going here and we're doing this and all, like, do you know what I mean? Like ugh, I don't want to be king. Um, and obviously I wouldn't be, king or whatever. Like it's just, you get where I'm coming from. Like it's the context of like nobody was really in charge. The only one that had any kind of authority was Papa J, because it was his chat that he set up that brought us all together. And he's not even Irish; he's American. So it was kind of shameful that we didn't have like like John and Jen, like Kingdom Bear and Carrie Mama Bear, who me and the missus got like really pally with. Um, they were like very organized, very prepared, lovely people. They run their own boxing club and all, like, so, like, always around lots of kids. They're very organized, and like they've been doing they do camping trips, they do big group things and all, and it was like um a general consensus that they weren't in charge, but a lot of people, like, because they would be like, oh, let's go here and let's do this and let's bring this and this and this and this and all, like, everybody was like, okay, like, I mean, like, I even said it, I like, when first time we went camping with them all, I turned around to Emma and I was like, we need to be more like them. They're prepared, they're on the ball, they bring this and this, like, we need to be more like that. And then the next year we were. And then it was weird because then more people, it's like the group, like half of the group, like, hung out at our tent and half the group hung out at John and Jen's tent. Because that's just what happens, I suppose, when you show up and you put the extra effort in and you bring, like, barbecue and like fucking fire stove and fucking lights and all this shit, like wood and coal, fucking coals and, like, briquettes, and like, you come prepared and you bring all this stuff. Like, you have the people that didn't come prepared kind of coming up to you, like, and being, please sir, may I have some, like, it's kind of like, fuck it, it annoys me, like, I I'm very aware of, like, and always have been, of, like, my own shortcomings, especially when the new ones, like if I'm not aware of them and then I become aware of them, I'm like, oh, I need to solve that. I need to be better. And watching other people not do that and still try and be like pally with you and shit, and you're just like, get your shit together. Like, like, how the fuck can I be like a weed smoking gamer and have more discipline, self-awareness, sense of humor, ability to grow, like, awareness of some kind of metaphysical, philosophical, moral, obligations and stuff, that, like, just like, Jesus Christ, these people suck. Like, obviously not all of them, like, some of them are fucking great people, still talk to them to this day, like. But it's not surprising to me that, like, the group just, like, dissolved, because a lot of them were just, like, fake, there for the wrong reasons, or just, like, on their own journey kind of thing. But, like, the third one, I don't really mind. Like, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But it is what it is, like, Bravey's good. Bravey's good. Yeah, like, we just don't talk as, like, nearly as often as we used to, like. But it's like I was saying, like, listing off all these things, like, Papa J is going through stuff. I don't want to say anything because it's his personal business, like. And it's the same with Bravey. They've all got stuff on, like, do you know what I mean? They've all got, like, things that just make it difficult to be like, okay, we're gonna do this and whatever. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just the fact that nobody's been like, hey, let's go here and do this. Which is, again, why I've kind of been like, all right, if no one else is going to do it, then maybe I should. Which I really don't like the idea of me having to be the one to fucking do it. Like, that's happened a lot since I joined the Bears. Where, like, I find myself in these positions where people, like, older than me with children are, like, I end up being like, do I have to be the one to do this? Aren't you people, like, supposed to be, like, more experienced and more responsible than the fucking whimsical weed smoking gamer head? Like, it's surprised me a few times, and annoyed me, because from my personal perspective, like, I have needed, like, strong role models in my life because of how fucking awry my life went, because of the choices that I went, because my dad wasn't around. So I ended up hanging around with basically, you know, criminal adjacent types. You know, like I wasn't hanging around with straight up criminals, but like, you know, if bear adjacent is a term, then criminal adjacent is definitely a term. Like, um, so when we started hanging around with the Irish Bear group and all, I was like, oh, these people are like good people, you know, fucking like Bernie Mac. They're good people. They're good people. Um, like that's what I saw. That's why I liked it so much. It was one of the reasons I liked it so much. It was like these people are good people. It's good to be around these people. It's good for me, and like, and that's good. Like, you know, it was all good, and then all of a sudden it's not because some people are absolute shitheads. Like, um, and it's weird how it works like that. How, like, you know, it's just a few of them, and then you get the people that like stick with them and follow them, you know. But it's always just a few. Yeah, it works both ways. It's always like there's a few like really good people, and then there's people who are like supporting the good people and with the good people, and then there's a few bad people, and then there's the people who support the bad people and are with the bad people. It's always the fucking same, which is just odd to me, you know. Um, and I never thought I'd be that type where like people ask my opinion on things and fucking look to me to like, you know, like, you know, well, what do you think we should do? And fucking, you know, and like, don't get me wrong, I come up with cool ideas depending on the subject matter, you know. Like, obviously, I can come up with cool stuff when it comes to art decisions and stuff like that, or like, but it's like fucking like having a fucking anti-Semitic gardening group, like, do you know what I mean? That goes an anti-Semitic camping gardening group. It's like white enthusiasts, like, and you fucking me, like me, fuck off, like. I know. Don't get me wrong. There was like you get fucking weirdos like fucking weirdos and losers like fucking Burn Bear or whatever. It was like calling me up at all hours because he knows I'm gonna be awake and I'll fucking talk to him like. Um, but then you get fucking great people like, you know, Scouse and Stuntman and Iron Man Bear and fucking, you know, um quite often I'm like, what are you doing talking to me? Like, do you know, it's like you're like a together human being, and you're like older than me and shit. What do you want to talk to me for? Like, but I suppose that's my. I suppose that's probably my father's voice in my head. That's like that doesn't think I'm capable of that shit, or I don't know. It could just be my own demons, like that I encountered in my youth. I say youth, but like, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still a fucking baby in so many ways. Like in more ways than one, I'm still a big kid, like, you know, which has its advantages, but like it's just one of those things where like I don't think I'm like fucking I it's a funny paradox where like you get the people like me who are like I shouldn't be in charge, and then people end up looking at you being like, no, but like people like you and fucking you know, you've got good ideas, and like you're not afraid to speak up and like be like, that guy's a dickhead, we shouldn't trust him. Like, I say, well, why can't you do that? I mean, like I don't know. It's funny. But I hope we kind of rebuild the Irish Bear group. I mean, if fucking like Ireland needs something like that. The Irish people need something like that. Especially right now, like, you know, it's just like it's pretty fucking horrific what's happening to this island right now, like. And obviously lately, I'm trying not to like. I think I'm doing a pretty good job of it, to be honest. I'm trying not to indulge my negative thoughts and fucking like let the demons in and so on and so forth. And I'm doing a pretty fucking good job of it lately. Um, but it's like It's like what I was talking about yesterday. Like you can't avoid the dark. It's always going to be there. You know. So like in your attempt to be a better person and become enlightened and like grow and do all these things, there comes this moment where you're like, you know, what? So I'm never gonna eat pizza again? Like, you know, fucking like. So if I have one can of Coke, I'm supporting the global like Jewish cabal. Am I? Like, you know, fuck. I don't think that's how it works. Like, you know what I mean? But that's why I like the yin and the yang balance thing. It's like oh, so what, you think Coke is like good for you? Fuck no. I mean, you can grease off engines with it. Like, you know what I mean? But the same argument could be said of like all of alcoholic beverages. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I don't think anything is good or bad. Things just have positive and negative aspects, and it's like our free will and self-discipline that dictates what we use it for, just like a gun or AI or alcohol or it's like that's what I thought was funny about when the Irish Bear Group first started getting like kind of big, and I was online, especially on Instagram with the Bears, like quite a lot. And people are like, so when are you and Wishy gonna have kids? When are you and Wishy gonna have kids? Come on, you and Wishy have to have kids. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I get it. You guys are constantly thinking about me shagging perverts. Obviously I'm messing. But fucking the assumption that just because somebody has children that makes them a good person. You know the fuckheads that have kids, you know. So part of me was always like, if I ever had fuck you money, I'd open a fucking orphanage and like have a proactive orphanage where you go around and you like take children from people who don't deserve to have children. Like, you're wasting them. This young boy could be a farmer, a warrior, an electrician, a carpenter, an artist. This young girl shouldn't be on a stripper pole. She should be having children with a carpenter or an artist or an electrician. And it's not like, you know, I do want to have kids, like, I think I'm going to start off with a cat. Like, I'm still very like you think Owen's etheric? Fuck me, like half the time I don't even know if I'm here. The bandit, welcome. Yeah, Bravy's a solid guy. Bravy's a solid guy. Bravy's my only criticism of Bravey is that he cares too much. He cares too much. Like he's too soft. He's too nice. He's too soft. That's my only criticism of Bravey. Other than that, he's like a fucking lovely guy. Really good, like really good dude. He's very considerate, loyal as fuck. Works with his hands, you know. And his kids are great. His kids are beautiful. He's got beautiful kids. I've never met the missus. Apparently, she's a cunt. Um, yeah, the Minister of Enthusiasm. Yeah. I kept that up for ages. I was still calling him the Minister for fucking ages. Like, shh, he's here. Like, me and Bravey were pretty tight. I would still consider me and Bravey to be tight. We just don't talk as often as we used to. But it's one of those relationships where like, um, like a proper bro relationship where you can not talk to each other for fucking months and then talk to each other and it's like, oh, stop, nigga. And they haven't like, it's like he's never stopped talking. Like, um, nothing cleans a battery terminal quite like Coca-Cola. Burn Bear has moved back to Dublin. Fuck off! He's back on the island. Ha! Oh God! Why am I not surprised? That's hilarious. What a dickhead! Like, what an asshole! Like, that makes him even worse. After all of that, he gave up and came back. After all the Bears bought him a lawnmower, gave him money, sent him seeds and all. Like, I'm on my own, can't find a woman. Like, shut the fuck up, you drunk skunk. Oh, Jesus Christ! Like. That's what I think is so funny about grown men. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll talk about my demons, like, do you know what I mean? But it's never from a fucking woe is me standpoint. Like, when you have a grown ass man being like, I don't know what to do, I'm so sad. It's like, fucking, like, shut up. Like, no woman's gonna want to fuck you if you behave that way. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, well, that's not necessarily true. The only females you're gonna find that will like, the parasitic ones, the parasitic demon types, the vampiric parasitic demon types will like latch onto a male like that, and like, oh no, you're so good at singing, Burn Bear, you could be famous and all this fucking shit, like, you know, and then like build his confidence up, and then the second he fails in any degree, she's right there to just like break him down so she can build him up again. So she's like the only positive thing in his life. Fucking like all Jewish mothers. Like that's hilarious. That is so funny. I can't believe it. Like, how the fuck did he get the money to come back? Are flights back from Croatia that fucking cheap? Somebody probably bailed him out. I guarantee you somebody bailed his ass out. Everybody was always just bailing his ass out. I've a particular disdain for people like Burn Bear. I know the type. Fun to be around, fun to hang out with, you know, talented to a degree, but lazy, self-centered, like lazy, self-centered, and what's the term? Vindictive, vengeful. You know, like he was very like, I don't know in what way, but like I haven't like gone into it with her or whatever, but like apparently he was very mean, and he really upset Juju Le Cubert, Julie from France. He really upset her, and I fucking love that woman. That woman's great. Anyone, like, it's like Owen said, anyone who will put you up for a week, like in their own house, drive 4 fucking hours to pick you up from the airport, to drive 4 fucking hours back to their fucking house to like hang out with you, and like, you know, fucking, you should be like, yeah, the beach is over there, I have a garden, you know, fucking chill, you know, like, it's one of the best times of my life was going to see Juju. That's some of the best. Like that was some of the best. Those memories will always be with me. Doing that fucking stream with her father, who's a Freemason. It's like amazing conversations. Like it was so fucking cool. It was like easily one of the best moments of my life so far. Was going over to France to see Juju. Like it was so fucking cool. And there's two times in my life now where like I've been surrounded by people not speaking the same language as me. And, it's not a comfortable experience. It's like it's cool going to other countries and experiencing other cultures and shit. But you really should like brush up on a language before you go to a place. I think anyway. Like I think it'd make your experience better, and it would make the people who live there more comfortable when you visit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you should, if you're gonna go to another country, you should put the effort in to like almost like pre-assimilate yourself to a degree. Um, because it's just like visiting someone's house. You're visiting someone's home. You're visiting the collective home of an entire people who have a completely different, well, not completely different, but like a very different way of life to you. And for you to just show up, and expect everyone to like, oh, does nobody here speak English? Where? What do you mean that? Like, why can't I get this? And where do they sell this and all that? Like, why would you go to another place and assume that you could get the comforts of of from home? Like, do you know, what do you mean they don't have Pringles? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like it's mad. Like I'd love to go to Japan, but I'd be like reading a Japanese fucking. I'd be like doing Duolingo and shit. Like, do you know, like, because I'd want to be able to at least like ask for things and order food and like maybe read some of the symbols so I can like look at the signs around and be like, okay, well that says that way. I don't know what's that way, but I know it says that way. Like fucking. So like I hate most tourists. Most tourists are fucking assholes. Like, um, I'd be running that Croatian fight. Yeah, man, stop. Like seriously, he had it so well. His own land, his own house. Like a group of dogs found him and tried to keep him company. God did It's like that fucking story of like the dude in the boat during the flood. God will save me. God will save me. And like people show up and they're like, get on the boat. He's like, no, God will save me. And then the helicopter and shit and all. Like, it's like God did everything to be like, here, all you need to do is like put a bit of work in and have a positive mindset, and this will work out like heaven for you. Like at his own land, he managed to get jobs. Then what does he do? He gets into fights. He like punches people and tells but like he's not a tough guy. Like, do you know what I mean? Like nobody who's tough has like genuinely tough has a story of like, yeah, these guys broke into my apartment and bet the shit out of me and broke my arm with a lock and a sock. Gee, I wonder why. Like, shit, like, what a dickhead, like. And it's like those are the people that piss me off more, is the ones that are likable, but they fuck up themselves and everyone around them because they're likable. Like, if you're a straight cock, you're just a fucking cunt, then people, get you away from them. And then you end up around the people that you should be with, other cunts. But if you're just likable enough that you can be around really nice people and then you bring them down like crab in a bucket style, like, I fucking hate people like that. Parasites. It's fucking parasitic behavior, like. Nailed it, Defender. What about Born Bear? I would talk to that guy for hours, like up like fucking all hours, painting and stuff and all, and talking to him. And I did the same thing the other bears did. Like, you know, you try and like, you know what you do for a friend in need. Like, do you know what I mean? You'd like, positive reinforcement. You're like, you're a bit tough with him and you're real with him, but at the same time, you're like, look, dude, like, you've got it. Like, you've got this, nigga. Like, just put some effort in. You got to have a positive mindset. Don't mind the demon voices. Tell them to fuck off. Like, do you know what I mean? The reason you got demon voices in your head is because you've got potential. Do you know what I mean? Like, the demons want to bring you down. Like, do you know what I mean? Fucking, like, where's your fight? Fight back. Like, fucking, don't be drinking whiskey and be like, oh, I can't find a woman. Oh. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, it's just... Oh, like, if there's one thing I don't have any time for, it's like when you're pathetic, like over a certain amount of time. Like, you can be pathetic in a given moment. Like, do you know what I mean? Everybody goes through different shit. Everybody reacts differently. But if you sit in your negativity and you start to, like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, and all, like, it's like, you shouldn't speak ill of yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, your mind is your most powerful weapon. It's not your soul. Do you know what I mean? Your soul is like what you are. It's your essence, who you are at your core. But your mind can be used against you. That's why these forces of darkness have created this, like, digital matrix of bullshit, because it affects the mind through the eyes and the ears and the, through your senses. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, but it's your most powerful fucking weapon. And, like, if you can realize that and you're like, okay, so ultimately I'm in control. I can't be forced to do anything. I can only be influenced and manipulated. So all I have to do is just sit for a moment. And like here's one criticism I have of myself, right? Is that sometimes I think too much. I think I can sometimes be too etheric, like Owen was going on about. But like I'm like way more etheric than that dude. Like that guy is very proactive. He's a go-getter. He's very physical. And like I can be like that, but I'm like way more etheric. Like I will literally meditate for hours because like I'll get into something, which makes sense because I'm a painter. Like, do you know what I mean? But it's like I can exist in my mind to an insane degree. Like, I'm almost like ready for death. Like, because I'm like, oh yeah, I've been doing this lots. Like, I'm like sifting around in the darkness with no hands. Like, this feels familiar. Like, that's one criticism I would definitely have of myself. Like, do you know what I mean? But it's like, maybe that's why it annoys me when I see it in other people, where I'm like, where is your ability to be still? Just be still and assess. Be still and like stop. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like that thing from fucking that skit that Owen did, that Mountain Bear did, with the like, okay, cool, Ira, but now stop. Like change course. Okay? You've made it through the storm. You know that was a storm. You still have a boat. You still have working sails. Your rudder still works. Everything is good. Now go that way. And he's like, no, but I can see an island full of gold over there. It's like, oh, like, for fuck's sake. And that's another thing I struggle with, is that savior mentality bullshit. Like, do you know what I mean? Where you're like, dude, I like you. You've got potential. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I've had to do it with myself. Like, I've had to pick myself up and dust myself off and like pat myself on the ass and go like, go do. You're still alive. Like, go do. And like, I'm not saying I did it completely on my own. Do you know what I mean? But it was like I had to do it. And I know in a sense, like, if you do it, everybody has to do it. Like, it's an individual thing. It can't be done for you, But there's always catalysts. And like, it's when you know that like you're a catalyst in someone's life for a little bit of progress, and you start to see them like grow a little, or it looks like they're growing a little, like, because I saw that with Born Bear, where I was like, oh, look at him, he's got a bit of money, he's got a job, he's got dogs, like, you know, he seems to be doing all right, and then it would just like plummet like a stock market, like, and you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake, like, it's, oh, and then it just gets to the point where you're wasting your energy, like. But it's their own fault, like, it's like I was saying, it's like, don't be too negative, like, do you know what I mean, like, whatever about your body is your temple, your mind is your sword. Do you know what I mean? If your body is your temple, your mind is your sword. Don't do a fucking seppuku every time something bad happens. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm stupid. I'm not gonna fucking, oh, no woman. Like, it's like these people who beat the shit out of themselves. It's like life is already kicking your ass. It doesn't need help. You know, it doesn't, like, you think life needs, like, your help in kicking your ass? No! Like, fucking, that's so retarded. Like, oh, yeah, okay, well, that makes sense. He sold the house. Oh, my God. Scouts would be running that town. He'd be like, he'd have a workforce of his own. Juju is a beautiful human being. She's fucking great. I love her. She's so cool. And I'm so happy for her right now. I know she's going through like some heavy shit, but like the fact that she's like finally getting away from her ex and all that stuff, like, you know, for people who know, I'm assuming that like she's said stuff, you know, like, but maybe I shouldn't fucking it's hard to know what to say when we all know that like some of us are closer to each other than others. You know, that kind of thing. But like Juju's going through some stuff, but she's growing very well. Like, and when I speak to her now, she sounds, don't get me wrong, she has a lot to rant about, just like I do. But like she sounds like she's making good progress, and I'm delighted for her because she deserves it. She's incredible, like she's an incredible human being. That woman has boundless love to give. That woman has boundless love to give. She needs to find herself a man that fucking really appreciates how like awesome a woman she is. Like, she's really fucking cool. Yeah, she's a fucking boss. She is, like. Yeah, she does. She does need a rest. She does. She's the opposite to fucking she's the opposite to somebody like fucking Born Bear, where like she doesn't know when to stop. She's kind of similar to Owen like that, where like she doesn't know when to fucking stop, like. Where am I? Juju. Juju's fluent in French. I know, how crazy is that? That like she speaks like fluent French, but she's from Texas. Like, wish I could be there to install her new honeybee queen. She sent me a picture and a text being like, I'm giving up on the honeybees, and I was like, no, don't do that. What the fuck? But like, you know, I'm not there. I don't know what she's going through. She's got a lot in her plate. You know, you can't. You need to know when you're spinning too many plates. I've fucking had that loads of times in my life, where you need to know when you're spinning too many plates. And it can be hard, you know. Like I kind of struggle with that sometimes, where like I've got so much shit going on, and I've so many ideas, and I know they have potential, and I know people like them and stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, you know, I need to make money, but I don't want to I don't want to do it for the money. And it's like all this fucking mental gymnastic bullshit. Like, you know, you're like moralizing things and thinking things and overthinking things and all this shit. Like, and it can be hard, like I was saying a minute ago, at times to just be still and to just like listen to your heart instead of your head and be like, everything's going to be okay. You know, everything's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. So don't you shouldn't force things, you know? Like, even if it's something that you're like really passionate about and you're a dreamer and all this fucking shit, like, you should never force something. You should always like, um, if you're meeting a lot of resistance, always question, is that because I should keep going, or is it because like are the gods, is God telling me to stop, that I'm being a fool and that I'm costing people and myself shit, or is this something I really need to fight for? Because there is a difference, you know. You need to know yourself enough to be like, and how you know is why are you doing it, you know, whatever it is, like, why are you doing it? If you're doing it for what you can internally assess is like, all right, I'm kind of being selfish here, you know, I don't have to do this. Is it my ego that, like, do I desire this, you know? Then you probably should stop. But if it's something that like you truly believe in and it's like, no, this is the right thing to do, even though it's costing me money and energy, this brings people joy. I've helped people along the way, and there are people like egging me on, you know, despite all the demon resistance shit. Then that's probably a situation where it's like, it's one of those situations where it's incredibly difficult because the payoff is going to be incredibly beautiful. That kind of thing, you know? Oh, fuck, man. What kind of cancer, Emmanuel? How bad is it? How are you feeling? Like, mentally and emotionally, you okay? Like, obviously you're not completely okay because you've got cancer, but how are you mentally and emotionally? I'm sorry to hear that, man. It's not like, it's like, you know, I know the big C is like scary and all, like, do you know what I mean? And you're not the only person in my life who's going through something like that. Um, I know, like, that's not an easy one. There's a lot of fear and a lot of angst in that one, like, do you know what I mean? But like, dude, stop smoking, drink more water, start doing some press ups, eat oranges. Like, in my opinion, if you've got cancer, is because there's something that you're doing that you need to change. You need to change your life in a very a drastic contrast needs to happen in your life. There's like a few things you need to just stop, and there's a few things you need to start now before it's too late. You know, and a mindset change needs to happen. You got a lot of shit in your body that's like after growing mold. You need to clean your system out completely. I'm talking like fasting, fucking, you know. You can totally get over that. You're a strong-minded dude. Do you know what I mean? You have a very powerful mind. You can get over that. You could totally beat this. I wish you could set up a beehive for me. I need to learn some stuff over the winter. Definitely. I want a couple of hives next. Yeah, beehives would be cool. Having my own honey would be fucking awesome. I'm uh I'm starting small. Lettuce, tomatoes, carrots. I'm gonna do potatoes next. And then I'm gonna dig a trench. I'm gonna like a well, not a trench. I'm gonna dig a grow bed up the length of the garden. We'll see how that goes. For someone that's set up multiple GoFundMes, it bothers me that he always has money for alcohol and smokes. Just one man's opinion. Oh, dude, yeah, that was one of the things that really pissed me off. Is that he put up a fucking message in the Legends chat where he was like, "Oh yeah, we're drinking good tonight." I'm like, the fucking neck of you to complain that you've been broke and you don't have money for this, and the Bears have sent you money and you're drinking. Like, oh, do you know what I mean? Like, even smoking. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's obviously I'm a bit biased there because I smoke myself, but like, I would like to think that if I'd put myself in his position, and people were like fucking giving me resources and fucking trying their best to fucking help me in a situation that I put myself in, you know, I'd like to think that I would be a bit more fucking frugal and a bit more respectful of the resources that are being handed to me, like, you know. That was one of the main things where I was like, cut him out like a fucking blight dickhead, like flaunting it and all, like, do you know, like, if you're gonna do it, don't fucking flaunt it, you know. Fuck me, like, Jesus. Hey now, don't you be speaking ill of seppuku. Well, you're immortal. It doesn't fucking matter. Anyone who abuses Juju is no friend of mine and doesn't deserve a bear name. How do you unverify? Branding iron. I fuck. Now that he's back in Dublin, I'll fucking take a trip. I'll take a trip back to Dublin and find the cunt. You prick. Like, slap him around, skinny little prick. Junky looking fuckhead, like. Yeah, like, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, anyone who's like a user and abuser of somebody like Juju, like, oh my god, fuck that person. Like, while resistance builds character, it's important to remember that bridges have height clearances for a reason. That's a weird way to put it, but I get where you're coming from. Yeah, like, there's more than one way to skin a cat, but you should probably ask yourself the question, why are you skinning the cat? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, are you skinning it because you need some gloves? Or are you skinning it because you like witnessing something go through incredible pain? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, at that point you need to assess, like, your motivations. Like, I like hearing them squeal. It's like, okay, you know, you need a course correction. Like, I'll see you later, Scouts. Much love. My dad's a good 6 years past gut cancer. You got this. Like, yeah, like, if he look, Emmanuel, I know you're there. Well, I don't know you're there. I hope you're still listening. I don't see it in the chat, but like, if you want to beat this, you can. You know, don't be like, oh, I have cancer. Like, here we go. This is the end. Like, now, my friends. Like, no, like, God's like, you're more religious and more like faithful than I am. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, God's given you cancer for a reason. Do you really want to be here? How much do you want to be here? And how much are you willing to change, to stay, to do the work that he's set out for you to do? You're an incredible fucking painter, man. You do some really fucking good shit. You'd probably make a great teacher or fucking mentor, or like, you know, if you die from this, I will never stop giving you shit on my stream. Swear to God. Like, don't you dare die on me, you prick. The Maple Monkey is right. I left the Legends chat for 6 months because I couldn't watch his alcoholic rants. Oh yeah, like fucking he's one of them people that make it like people like I'm like that sometimes. Now it's not like I'm not in the Legends chat because I'm all over the place. I barely get on Bertaria times often enough. Like, you know, I'm not like a social butterfly kind of person. Like, I dip in and out, you know. I show up and I'm like, hi, blah, 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 have fun, and then I leave, and then I like being alone for a while. I've always been like that. Like, I love being around people, but I also love me time. Um, but I get that where like someone can turn you off being at a place because you don't want to like. That's why it took me a while to get into the Legends chat, and like make it public. Get him the fuck out of here, because I have that bubble around me where I'm like, oh, I'll just stop engaging. But when I saw that it affected Juju, and I saw that like it was starting to affect other people, and that people were still trying to help him, I was just like, no, no, like someone needs to say something. Like, and then of course, he turned around and nipped at me like a fucking misbehaving dog, and I just told him to go fuck himself. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, um, and it's not an easy thing to do. It's not a nice thing to do. You know, it's like I can imagine it's comparable to like killing a chicken or putting an animal out of its misery that you like or something like that. Like, you know, it's not easy, but it's necessary. And when you need to do those things that are necessary, it's important to kind of like shut down your ego and emotions and not like and this is coming from a guy who's very emotional, you know, especially when it comes to anger. Um, but lately I've been doing a really good job of that shit. Um, it's been a long time since I lost my temper. I was only talking to Iron Man Bear about that the other day. Like, I'm off the devil's lettuce like a while. I was off it and then I was on it. Now I'm off it again. It's like I think I'm like 3 weeks off it now. The dreams, the dreams. It's important. Like, it's I'm capable of that, and that's why I know that's why it's important. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like when something just has to be done, you just need to do it. Don't think about it. Like, don't overthink it. Don't fucking get emotional about it. Of like, oh, this is so hard for me, and I don't want to do it because of these reasons. Like, shut the fuck up. Just do it. Stop being uh etheric and be carbon for a while. Do you know what I mean? Just like like just fucking take action. Stop ruminating and pondering and just take action. Like, um it's not every day that the Maple Monkeys are right about it. It's a rare occurrence indeed. I mean, considering like what has happened to their country and all that. In a lot of ways, like, don't get me wrong, I'd probably rather be in Canada than in Ireland right now. Like, um, it's bigger. There's more, in a sense, more opportunity there. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot colder. Um, but like, if the main problem that you guys have is Jeets, then like, oh, because like here we have a huge amount of Africans here. We have a huge amount of Africans here, and that's not good. You know, it's not good at all. That's a drastically different culture. Like, again, don't get me wrong. Like, for every rule, there's an exception. There are quite a lot of them that I've met in person that assimilate perfectly. They have an Irish accent. They love speaking the Irish language. They love a good Guinness, and like they complete like it's very easy to assimilate into Irish culture. Fighting, fucking, drinking. We like those are our favorite things: is fighting, fucking, and drinking. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you can't assimilate into that kind of culture, now don't get me wrong. Like, we have a like 100,000-year-old magical fucking, like we have an honor culture here. We have like a really deep-seated deeply rooted honor culture here. But our favorite things to do are fighting, fucking, and drinking, and some smoking. Like, you know, like literally, like we're the best at that. Like pound for pound, like some of the best fighters have been Irish, and they're not big dudes. Like, you know what I mean? They're like little hard fuckers. Like, you know, like the David and Goliath types, where like you'd walk up, be like, "See you, you paddy fucker," boom, and like just knock you clean out. Like while you're talking shit, we're just picking a point on your jaw, and then the second we like, it's like Jack Sparrow, like, you know what I mean? It's like you wait for the opportune moment and then just crack and like game over, like, and that's a really fun culture. It's a really easy culture to assimilate into, because if you can take a licking and keep on kicking, then like everybody will love you for it. Like that's how Irish people are built. Is like if you get your nose broke in front of everybody, but you can get up and still give the person shit, like that's how we roll. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep coming back. You know, we we relate to that because of the Irish and the Roman, because of the English and the Roman invasions and all. Like, we relate to the underdog shit. We relate to the whole like, yeah, we lost loads of fights, but we're still here kind of thing. Like, you know. Now, having said all that, the Africans and the Irish that are alive today have a tendency to misery loves company shit, where they're like, oh yeah, we've been oppressed by slaverism. And then the Irish are like, oh yeah, me too. And that's not a good thing. You know, that's a downward spiral of bullshit, like, you know, where it's like they fucking they find solidarity in their victimhood, like, which is just fucking pathetic to me, to be honest. Like, um, people are nice to be around in reasonable amounts. Agreed. Like, I do get sick of certain people, like, you know. Well, I get sick of groups as well, because I'm that like traumatized type where like I have a tendency to have my back to a wall, and like I'll notice everything or most things, you know, and I get to a point where like I get sick of seeing certain shit, because most of the time I don't feel like it's my place to point certain things out, you know, because then that gets to a point where like I'm inserting myself into too many places, you know, like a rapist, and you don't like it feels like managing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like that's not my place. Like, you know, people's business is their business. People have free will. They're allowed to make their own fucking choices. And if I keep going, hey, you know, you shouldn't hang out with him because like you're a bit weak and he's like manipulating you, and then walk over there and be like, you should do less of this because like people like you more when you're sober, like, and then go over here and be like, I don't think that's my purpose. I don't think my purpose is to tell people how to act, you know. Um, because in a sense, I think it's fucking hypocritical of me. Because it's like, sure, I know how to act because I fucked up a lot, and I had like for the first 13 odd years like a fairly like solid upbringing. But I have like some serious fucking demons and stuff, and I can get stuff really wrong. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I have a decent slither of a blind spot because I still have my own demons to deal with. Like, do you know what I mean? And in that sense, I'm just like everyone else. Um, but I am aware that I'm quite unique in my general makeup, where like people think I'm nuts, you know, because I have like similar to Owen. Like, I've like no fear of speaking in public and shit like that. Like, which is a very common fear, you know. And even though I have like most people, like, you know, most people are afraid of spiders and stuff, whereas like I am intrigued by them. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like part of me is surprised I made it this far because like I'm surprised I haven't succumbed to the whole curiosity killed the cat situation where like you know like there's plenty of times where you know my guardian angel was like whoa like fucking you're gonna get yourself killed, boy. And I was like fucking I'm blessed to be here. Like phrase, yeah, I'll do the phrase. Thank you for reminding me. Oh fuck. There's me saying I'm gonna take it easy on the voice and the character and all because my fucking throat's a bit wild and I'm after like doing a shitload of talking. Oh god. Right, where are we? Where are we? Oh no. Bit higher. Bit higher, bit lower. That's what she said. Right, with the help of my feathery friend, Tobias Speakus Cross, I shall announce today's phrase of the day.
With a ding of my tiny donga, with a smiley song that I send cleansing vibrations through the interwebs to cleanse you filthy mortals of your dirty, filthy cheek. And allow it to flow freely as I announce today's phrase of the day.
Today's phrase of the day is as follows. In a woman's prison, every day is Taco Tuesday. That's nasty. When he sent that to me earlier, I was just like it made me laugh. But I was like, ew. It's like, that's a fucking nasty one. Oh, fuck. There's a saturation point. Canada surpassed that at least 5 years ago. Oh, dude, don't you, like... and yet you laugh. And yet he laughs. Yeah, it's still... It's like, the smell. Like, I mean, it's bad enough. It's bad enough living with one of them. Like, oh fuck. Yeah, the saturation point thing. Giggity. You're fucking like the. My mind is just like bobsledding down the gutter right now. Fucking like, I think Ireland has gotten there. I think Ireland has gotten there. There's a fuck like for definite in the cities. Like there's so many foreigners here. Like the stats on I met the foreigners here, and I met the foreign born here, and all this. Some like I think it's something crazy, like 25% or something. Like it's fucking, it's bad. Like but you see, that's the thing. Is like the thing that gives me hope. The thing that still gives me like plenty of like faith in like this island and its natives, and its culture as well, is that like it'll get really, really, really bad, and then overnight it'll just switch, and then the pendulum will swing violently and quickly the other way. It'll get to a point where like foreigners just start getting killed, and I'm not calling for violence. Do you know what I mean? I know I say some wild stuff, but I'm never calling for people to be like, go out there and commit some violence. But I'm just being real. Like it's already at a stage and has been at a stage for a while where the boys will show up in the middle of the night and set things on fire. And if you don't behave accordingly, they'll set it on fire again and again and again. So like it will get to a point, and we're getting there. We're getting there very quickly, it'll get to a point where foreigners just start getting killed, and I don't like that because I know that a lot of them that will get killed won't deserve it. You know, like the people who start taking action aren't going to be, the best of us. you know, the people who start taking that kind of action are going to be bloodthirsty, um, and they're going to be coming from a point of victimization, like, do you know what I mean? And they're going to be bloodthirsty. But I see that's what's going to happen is that it'll get to a point where a clash will come, and the Irish don't fuck around. We don't fuck around. We're really, really nice and really, really calm, and but like there comes a point where we like get incredibly violent, like like sadistically violent, brutally violent. Like we have a long history of it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like we're genetically very like ancestrally, genetically, and historically very capable of like being so violent that people don't want to engage, you know, um, and being so specifically like scarily violent, like you'll wake up, uh, in a forest, like tied up or some shit, or like you'll wake up and your house is in the middle of burning down, like, do you know what I mean? Like straight up gangster shit, like, do you know what I mean? You'll be walking, you'll be putting the key in the door to go home, and like something will explode, or like somebody will just like real simple stuff as well, where someone will just come up to you with a sawn off and just like bang bang and put you down and walk away, like, or somebody will just find you'll be like out drinking with friends or something, and you'll be out in the smoking area maybe or some shit, and somebody will just come up and go shank 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 and leave, you know, like it's not nice to think about that stuff, and I don't want it to get to that stage. Nobody does. Well, some people do. Some people wanted to get to that stage because they could profit off of it, and then there'd be like, power vacuums, and they can take that power. But like, I would prefer if, we could just have open discourse, I'd say most people would. Most people would prefer to talk shit. Most people like a roast. Most people would prefer to like just sit down and watch the telly in the evening and see real people talk about real stuff in a very real way, and it not be all of this fanfare, fucking circus and bread bullshit. Like, a lot of us would prefer to be able to just sit down with the missus in the evening with the kids gone to bed and be like, all right, what are the boys going to talk about? Like, the people who are in charge, the people who have authority, the people who have the, fingers on the buttons and the hands on the levers. They're going to sit down and be like, right, we're sick of this and we're sick of that, and you guys need to stop doing this and you guys need to stop doing that, and where's the money for this? Where did that go? And like, are you embezzling again? Like, Jimmy, like, actually be real with each other and call each other out and criticize each other, and like whether it's politically incorrect or not, like, do you know what I mean? Just be fucking real about it, like, and maybe that time will come, like, where people are just like saying it straight, and it's widely broadcast, saying the truth, like saying the truth will become the norm again, like. We're not there yet, though. I think it's gonna get really dark. It's gonna get really dark and fucked up, because it already is. You've seen that fucking Henry Novak in Britain there, got stabbed by that Sikh fella. Oh, excuse me. Oh, sumimasen. Tuna sandwich. I've had to switch to barbecue sauce because I'm off fucking mayonnaise, chicken, and eggs, and my neck is going down, so it probably is that, which is funny because it's like really inconsistent. But anyway, as I was saying, that British young fella Henry Novak that was stabbed by the Sikh fella, and the cops, like the police, literally like they cuffed him while he was like, I've been stabbed, I'm bleeding and all, and like they didn't even like lift his clothes up or whatever, or actually check him for wounds. They were just like, yeah, I don't think you've been stabbed. Okay, like fucking like. So when someone goes, he's being racist, they believe him immediately. But when someone goes, I've been stabbed, they're like, nah, I don't think so. Like, it's like, you want to see something wild? Watch that fucking Lego thing. Fucking who was a Stabru who dropped it in the Telegram there yesterday? Like, for you guys who haven't seen it, for the people who haven't seen it, go to Reckless Ben, one word, on YouTube, and watch all the stuff about the Lego stuff, and the Bricks and Figs is a company that's like a middleman between customers and the Lego company. Like they deal in like fucking Lego figurines and models and stuff and all, like, and $200,000 worth of Star Wars special edition stuff that belonged to an old man who was dying of cancer was essentially stolen from a store, and the old man's son has been going through this whole legal rigmarole of trying to like get it back and all, like, and how deep that rabbit hole goes and the places that rabbit hole goes to is fucking wild. And it's a great example of like it's a great example of like I was talking about earlier on. It's like you would think at face value and just based on like logic and rationale that you would look at something like Lego, and it's like seemingly such a benign thing. The first thing you think of is like children's toys, and then beyond that you think of like nerds and collectors and stuff, like, I used to fucking love Lego when I was a kid, like, do you know what I mean? If I had a lot of like, if I had a lot of expendable income, I would definitely have some Lego. I love Lego. Like it teaches you basic engineering and stuff and all, like, do you know what I mean? Some incredible shit you can do with Lego. But how evil that the behavior in that video saga is, like what happened to that old man's collection and why it happened and who was involved and how far they were willing to take it and all, like, it's like it's levels of evil that are actually comparable to what happened to that Henry Novak guy. Like, I know it wasn't like a stabbing in broad daylight or whatever, or in the evening. I think it was in the evening. It looked like it was dark when the cops, from the body camera footage on the cops. Yeah, I think he was on his way home from the pub or something. I can't remember. But like, one is a fatal stabbing in the most horrific of circumstances, and those police, you're right, the bandit, the police should be sent to prison. Like, they should be, not only have their badges taken off them, but they should be imprisoned, like, for at least, I would say, easily 5 to 10 years. Like, horrible behavior out of them, like inhuman behavior, and the fact that you can actually compare those two levels of evil, and they're not that different. One has something to do with like an old man's Lego collection and just like next level thievery, collusion, and corruption, and just greed and just straight up avarice. Like, do you know what I mean? Just like all the nice sounding big words for bad stuff. It's like just this the like the level of avarice, like it's just disgusting. Um, but then like, you can act like the fact that you can actually compare those two, they're not too dissimilar. Like, I'll see you later, Dick Ford. I'm gonna wrap it up anyway. My voice is starting to give. I can feel it in my throat. When did I start? Was it 5? Yeah, I've only got another 15 minutes anyway. Um, we still have another bit of work to do in this. I'll like finish off that winch cable thing. Finish off Nova Jean's collar. I have to put another layer on her tongue. Um, Griff said he wanted his beard and his hair to be a bit more wispy. The clouds are starting to look nice and white, so there's that. But yeah, I think yeah, we're nearly done here. We're nearly done here. We'll probably be done this by the end of the week, if not before the end of the week, depending on how many hours I end up putting into Kickum and if I'm not streaming or whatever. But yeah, I'll leave it there. I didn't read all the chats today. They are turning the beautiful countryside into dumping grounds. Really sick. People are calling them out, which is good, but is ramping up because of their sheer numbers. Yeah, they're doing the same thing to fucking England. The English countryside is starting to get riddled with fucking straight up garbage as well. Like they literally have no respect for their environment, which is hilarious. You know, because the globalists are like fucking like on the one hand, the globalists are like, we need to reduce the population, but then on the other hand, they're like, you know, open the borders. You know, it's fucking say, hold on, hi, sorry, what? Like, fucking, like you'd think if you wanted to reduce the population that you would keep everyone in like controlled pens and like, you know, begin some sort of eugenics fucking program, but like whatever, like, devils do not speak in truths, they speak in lies. Unfortunately, gross. Unfortunately, the ickiest of occurrences are usually the most necessary. It's a shame what people have to do in order to defend their heritage and posterity when given no other option. Yeah, like that's what's kind of sad about it is like what's kind of tragic is like you can give people all the opportunity to be better and to be moral and do the right thing or to like come to some sort of like amicable negotiable agreement or like, you know, win-win scenario, but some people just choose evil, and some people are evil. You know, they have become, they embody evil, their essence is evil. And when it comes to those people, the only answer is the language of the sword. You cannot use the spoken word. You know, you must speak with violence because that's the only language they actually understand is pain. And that's to me that's tragic. That's heartbreaking because I used to think that like if you look like a Darth Vader situation, is like even the most, you know, villainous, death dealing, you know, like he killed a bunch of children, like, you know what I mean? Like the amount of lives that guy ended, like in that story. But at the end, even he is like, oh fuck this, and throws the Emperor down the thing, and like kind of in a sense redeems himself because he saves Luke, like, and his son, you know, like, but as much as we like to think about these stories, they are just stories, and they have excellent moral lessons. But real life is a lot darker. Real life is a lot more beautiful and a lot more ugly than any story you've probably ever read or like heard of or watched. Like, I suppose that's not necessarily true. I mean, there's bound to be a few movies out there or books that are just like real as fuck. Star Wars is like, you know, very fantasy and like child friendly, I suppose. But But there is a truth in what I said. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, stories tend not to depict the reality of life, where there are people who just don't care, need to be dealt with, and the how those it's like that saying. It's like the only thing necessary for evil to propagate is for good men to do nothing. When good men stop taking up the sword and the shield and defending the innocent and the weak, um, and like when you say, like, obviously defend the innocent, but when you say defend the weak, I mean like feeble, like sickly, like old, like those who literally cannot defend themselves, like, you know, like your average woman and shit. Like, obviously there's like exceptions to the rule. There's some bitches out there that can throw down, you know, relatively speaking, but like women typically, like, you know, they. I seen this thing there the other was it this morning or yesterday that I found hilarious. No man calls himself an independent man in the context of, like, you know, these women. It's like, I'm an independent woman, I'm a feminist and all. It's like, what are you independent of? Or what are you claiming to be independent of? Oh yes, men. You know, like, but like no man is like, I'm an independent man. He's just like, I'm a man. You might say I'm a single man, or like, you know, I don't have a woman, or I don't have children or whatever. But he's not an independent man. He's just a man. You know, because a man can be independent, holistically, almost like independent, wholly independent. There's the, you know, obviously it's very rare, because like wholly independent means like off grid, you know, just wilderman. But like a man can actually do that. A woman can't. You know, I don't give a fuck who the fuck she is. Like, um, they're literally not designed to do that. Like, but yeah, when men stop taking up the sword and the shield to defend the innocent and the weak, then evil propagates, and we end up in the situation that we're in. And like, I hope I never actually have to, like, you know, get into like a violent altercation where I might die. You know, nobody wants that. There's a small part of me that like would like to prove myself as a, and not to other people, to me, because you don't know until you know. You know, you know. You don't, like, you don't know until you know. And because I've never been in a real fight, you know, I don't know. I'm confident in my abilities. I have some training under my belt. It's been years since I even sparred properly. But like, I try to keep myself like relatively fit, and like I've got a few weapons lying around. Like, you know, like time, like the one time I went to a shooting range, I'm very competent. You know, more with a rifle than a pistol. Um, but like, I could kill a man if I had to. Um, in theory, I don't know. You know, fuck. Um, getting South Park imagery. Or, I'm assuming you meant South Park. Getting South imagery in my head. Mingy. I never get to see. I never got to see Paris. Um, yeah, that G fella was sick, all right. If the excuse for carrying a blade is a religious exemption, then British Christians ought to be carrying swords. Sell your cloak and buy one. Yeah, like that. That's funny, isn't it? Like, you know, fucking the average Brit used to be. Oh, Damo, what's the crack, nigga? Um, um, the average Brit used to be walking around with like a cane that had a blade in it or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, the rich ones anyway. Like, you know, and it's like, I'd like to see a time like that return, where like open carry of like blades is, or even just sticks and battens and stuff. Like, I'd like to see a time where that's like totally acceptable. because everybody knows it's like, no, like, you have the right to defend yourself, you know. Now, obviously, we would all prefer, ideally, a situation where if you have to defend yourself, then it's like, put them up, son. But like we just spoke about, like, there's always going to be some dickhead who brings a knife to a fair fight, you know. Um, there's always going to be some dickhead who doesn't trust his hands enough that he's going to bring a blade in case he loses, like, you know. So you're better off where, like, everybody has a blade or a gun or both, you know. Um, Piggies smell good at a barbecue. Yeah, bring back witch burning. Um, According to the libs, got to run much. I already read that one. I have a feeling this story will have lasting effects on anti-corporate sentiment. Oh, the whole Lego thing, yeah, probably. It blew the fuck up. It went super viral. Slight segue. Palpatine. Apparently, Palpatine was trying to build up defenses for the real threat beyond the Outer Rim. He was actually the good guy. In fairness, even if that were true, he had an outrageous approach. Well, yeah, that sounds like the whole Hitler was actually the good guy. Um, which, you know, I like the Nazis. You know, they did some cool shit and all. Like, I like talking about World War II. I like talking about how the Holocaust is a lot of bollocks, and, like, you know, Hitler is not what people think he is and gets far too much hate. Like, you can't compare Hitler to the devil himself. That's far too much credit. Um, Hitler, if anything, from what I've seen and experienced and heard from people more experienced, intelligent, and well read than myself, um, Hitler seems to be similar to a Trump, whereas, like, he's kind of a patsy. He's kind of like a. Um, no, I'm okay, thanks. He's more of a patsy. He's like a figurehead. Like, you know, he's a spokesperson who was, like, put in the position of influence, and then, like, you know, influenced himself to drive it off a cliff. Because whether you like it or not, the end result of World War II was a fuck ton of Germans died, and Germany became way more degenerate. Like, the state of Germany right now is fucking sorrowful. Um, Absolutely shameful. Like, do you know what I mean? They used to be so fucking cool. And, like, I'd make an argument for, like, they should go back to where they were, like, when they became Nazis. You know, like, that would be better for Germany, is if they were still at that point in World War II where they were fucking Nazis. Like, they were strong. They were, like, they had style. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they had purpose. The fucking, like, and the occult shit's really cool. Um, but yeah, like, that's what that sounds like to me, is like, fucking, like, what's the true evil that Palpatine is talking about? Like, I don't know Star Wars lore that well. What's the Outer Rim threat? Is this some kind of, like, aliens that, like, yeah, Palpatine was preparing for the Yuuzhan Vong incursion. Oh, yeah, are they from the Knights of the Old Republic lore? The Yuuzhan Vong, they're in the Coder lore, aren't they? Um, yeah, the Yuuzhan Vong. This kind of, yeah, like, fucking, me and Demon are, you two would get along. Fucking me and Demon play. Me and him, me and my missus, and his missus have been playing Zombie Army 4 for, like, the past couple of weeks. The last few years, we get on most weekends and play stuff on PlayStation Network together. Fucking very similar interests in music as well. But yeah, like, big nerds, but also, like, physical nerds. Like, he's a gym junkie, and, like, you know, I still do all my calisthenics and, like, qigong and, you know, a bit of martial arts back now and again and stuff. And like Damo was like a very competent footballer back in the day, and like we used to just call him a ninja because his ability to like scale anything, like anything, like like it's fucking ridiculous. Like, um, you guys would really get along. Uh, he might have won if he fortified Europe and waited for the Soviets to come westward, but I don't know. Yeah, like it's kind of like how I like when I'm talking about it. Like if I was in charge, what I would do with Ireland is I would put massive coastal guns all around the perimeter of the island, um, and I would make them like beautiful, like aesthetically. They would be aesthetically beautiful, and they would be like a combination of like you'd have anti-air and like and then just like huge ones to take out ships, and then some um what would it be called, fucking what's the term when it's just like anti personal, um like a few miniguns or something like that, like what I mean, and snipers. I'd have sniper, like it like if I was in charge, it would be a thing where like you would want it'd be like a really positive good version of like the Night's Watch from Game of Thrones, where like Ireland would essentially have this like beautifully decorated, beautifully orchestrated and engineered wall of death that faced outward, to just keep out people that we don't want here. And we'd have every right to fucking do that because of how small we are, relatively speaking, to every other nation. You know, relatively speaking, I would make sure that it would be so that it would be so like cost ineffective to come anywhere near Ireland in any way of in any sort of aggressive set, like militaristically, like like even launching intercontinental ballistic missiles and stuff like that. Like I would have uh balloons floating above Ireland in a pattern that would act as like warning systems, but then also distractions, like thermal distractions, and like uh fucking routine fly arounds, lads and jets, making sure that there's nothing going on, nothing getting in. Yeah, I'd lock it down. I'd completely lock it down, and it would be beautiful. Uh it would be considered an honor to be a part of the Irish guardsmen, you know, the Irish Guard forces or something, like, do you know what I mean? Like it would be considered a great honor to be trained from a young age to either man the guns or fly a plane, or like we would have a navy, we would have an air force, we would have ground troops, and like a significant amount of them, because I would make it a thing that every it's debatable of whether I would do it with every child or it would just be every boy. Part of me thinks you should just do it with every boy, but then part of me also thinks that it would also benefit the women, to have some form of military training, or at least some form of martial arts training. But like around 7 or 8, it wouldn't be mandatory, but I would heavily encourage and heavily incentivize the Irish population from the age of 7 to 10 to like train your kid, and then again from the age of like 17 to 20 to train them again, regardless of whatever personal vocation they take. Artist, carpenter, baker, fucking medical field, like philosophy, any of these things. From 7 till 10, and then 17 to 20, you leave home, um, and you go to one of the many barracks around the island, like the one closest to home that you so that you can regularly visit home, and you would be trained up like intensely. You'd like physical, fucking, intense physical and mental and emotional and spiritual training, um, and like all sorts of strategy. And I would take from all sources, like whatever about just reading, The Art of War or some shit like that. Like it would be from all sources. I would like hire guys to investigate all sources of military history, tactics, previous knowledge of like, successes and failures of previous battles, whether it be offense or defense. And I would look a lot into the German engineering when it came to big guns because they were great at it. But then I would also look at everything and anything from like ancient Indian structures in terms of like how they could like use what do they call it, like spiritual geometry, like cymatics, and like the same way, like, when I'm saying that the guns would be beautiful, I'm not taking the piss. Like, do you know what I mean? I would set them up in such a way that the harmonic resonance of the island itself was a form of defense. Like that we would create a essentially either an ultrasonic or sonic sound barrier around the island by creating various structures that resonate and amplify um, healing energies, but then also warding energies. So I would first set up off like a warding energy around the island, and then within that I would set up a healing energy. So the people within the um like within the Irish walls would be well fed, well educated, um spiritually enlightened, and philosophically educated. Like they would be strong in mind, body, and soul. And I would try and do that within a generation. I would aim for within a 20-year period, boom, all of it, like most of it either on the way or done. Because I think that's totally possible. Because evil is slow and it creeps. But light is instant and blinding. Fucking the Yuzon Vong were unaffected by the Force. Oh no shit. The Vong are from Legends lore, purely anti-technology, but they have biologically based weaponry and ships, wild tribal shit. Oh, they sound like the Tyranids from fucking Warhammer. They're impervious to the Force. That's mad. So you can't force blast a nigga. Lightsabers only. So you basically get the Sith and the Jedi would essentially be like handicapped. So everything would just be based on straight up martial prowess. That's interesting. Was just playing Coder 2 on the weekend. Yeah, no way. Loved Coder 2, or 1 and 2. HK47 is the best droid. Your beard is looking great, lad. Thank you. I only recently trimmed it back, and I'm gonna grow it out again. Because it was getting a bit scraggly and thin and stuff. Because I have a horrible habit of stroking it too much. Giggity. The beautiful wall of death. Yeah, like it would it would simultaneously act as like the thing that keeps Irish society safe in a militaristic sense, but at the same time, it would be a global tourist attraction. People would come far and wide to see the Irish guns. Like I would make that a thing. I would like dream that into reality, where it's like it would no longer just be the ancient Irish, Celtic structures from thousands of years ago or whatever like that, which we would obviously, you know, uh, protect and preserve and repair if we could, and emulate. Um, but then the big modern tourist attraction would be like I would have people in foreign countries saying like one day I want to visit Ireland and see the Irish guns, and it'd be like I'd send out like pictures and stuff like, you know, like I would make sure that foreign schools have a section in there, like, you know, when they're learning about foreign countries, like the one of the main things they learn about Ireland is that Ireland in the past 20 years has become like a formidable militaristic force, relatively speaking. Like obviously, like I wouldn't be like so arrogant and, for want of a better term, stupid to think that I could like take over the world or whatever, nor would I want to. Um, but if I was in charge, like I said, I would make it so it was so brutally cost ineffective to attack us. Like you would lose so much shit just trying to get in and on the just trying to put boots on the ground. You would lose so much shit that it's basically not worth it, you know. And I had no minefields. I hate minefields. I think they're a disgusting form of military tactic. But I would have the same way I'd have lads flying around the Irish Air all the time. I would have the Navy, you know, like have submarines going around all the time, and I would like the same way they did in Dubai, where they basically created like you know synthetic land. Well, not synthetic land. They like man-made land where they like did that sandbar with the palm tree and all. Like I that's what I would do around the like, because I wouldn't want to like damage or sully the island itself with weapons. So what I would do is I would build like I would clad like essentially the island in a ring and use like, you know, the star fort geometry of building like these massive sandbars around the island, probably within a kilometer, so you could see it from Ireland, you know, fairly easily. Like, um, and there's little islands around Ireland, like, you know, and I'd probably like do my best to like connect them to the mainland in various ways, like, and I just lock it down, like, and it would be incredible, it'd be beautiful, it'd be awe-inspiring. Um, I think we need to pour resources into ultra defensive narrow AI weapon systems alongside some standard training for most citizens. Yeah, that's a good idea. You know, you make everyone very technically literate. Yeah, that's a wise route to take. Um, and yeah, using getting ahead of the AI game would be really important. You don't want to be a slouch in that regard because it's such a powerful weapon. Um, so yeah, I would definitely make you head of that department. Put flowers and bedazzles on the concrete walls and canals. Make it look gorgeous. Fucking like no, it'd be epic. It'd be like fucking. It would be awe-inspiring. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it would be like there'd be a lot of cymatic patterns, and it'd be like incredible Celtic. And it'd be as much as I could. I would like um all that stuff that Gardner talks about, where we use like geopolymers, so we could pour geopolymers into what you call it, what are they called? molds. You pour geopolymers into molds and use cymatic patterns to get everything like symmetrical and geometrically aligned and sonically harmonic to the point where, like, energetically speaking, we don't even need the guns. On a spiritual energetic level, there is like a spiritual energetic um ward around the whole fucking island, you know. But then also for the carbon, lots of guns. Um, it sounds like you're describing a comprehensive education. That's outrageous. His sarcastic. I know, yeah. Yeah, it would be like I wouldn't fuck around at all. Like I would really like. It would be very comprehensive. Like, be extremely comprehensive. I would want all of our people to be as strong as possible in all facets, mentally, physically, spiritually, as healthy and as strong in all possible ways. And I would encourage like um what I would coin like healthy eugenics, where like I would encourage young couples to like, I would encourage young couples and families to encourage young couples. Like, if you see two beautiful, uh, like genetically blessed people, like, you would encourage them to breed, you know. Um, and this whole like romanticized fucking like, you know, finding yourself and finding your true love and all this shit. It's like, no, love is an action. Love is a behavior. Love isn't like some whimsical bollocks branded by Hallmark. Like, do you know what I mean? Like all this Valentine's bullshit, like, and get her what she really wants for Christmas and get her this big ring and all this fucking like, you know, diamonds and all that, like, you know, materialistic bullshit. It'd be like, no, like, um a man, regardless of his physical aesthetic, if he is a good man, he deserves a good woman, you know. And I'm not saying that like you get a really pretty blonde and pair her up with like an ugly guy who's gonna fuck her like an ogre, but like, you know, at least puts dinner on the table. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like encouraging and heavily incentivizing strong, healthy relationships based on like being good to one another, like, and providing for one another, and not just like financially or materialistically, like, you know, like that's what I'm talking about, of like like a spiritual, mental, physical, and psychological uh upgrade, you know. And like no religion, no religious overtone to it at all. um the people would be free to, like, you know, engage in their religions and stuff to a point, you know. um Dogma would be illegal, you know. Zealotry would be illegal. Any form of like, well, God said this, I don't give a fuck, I can't hear him, neither can you, and I know that, so shut the fuck up. That doesn't mean I don't have faith in the supernatural, you know, or the etheric. That doesn't mean that I don't believe in some kind of like, you know, divine, like singular consciousness, whether it be God or gods, you know what I mean? But this religion bollocks is going to stop, you know, like, it's like, for the most part, like I said, it's like you would still they'd still be allowed to have their churches and stuff. All the mosques would get torn down. All the Muslim shit would get torn down and be sent out. Like, you could, because Catholicism is here so long and so many people are Catholic that are Irish, I would allow that to stay to a point, but everything else gone. Um, the guns of Moher will be the envy of the world. Exactly. um, Regarding Jedi, Sith, Vong, this is why Palpatine was making all kinds of weapons like that Death Star. Interesting. I mean, like, how tragic is it that like you have lore that fucking cool in the Star Wars IP, and we haven't gotten any of that from the movies? Like, that's crazy. Like you have stuff like that sitting in the lore for the IP of Star Wars, and people like me who have basically only played the video games, watched the movies, and then watched a bit of Star Wars Clone Wars. I didn't play either of the KOTOR. Um, I don't know the lore that well, but that's so much better than the dog shit that we got. Like, we need to leapfrog the big powers so we can help correct the actions of the bully nations. But who runs that kind of power? We would need a council, I think. Yeah, I'd go for like a King Arthur situation where like a round table of like there is no singular um man, who's like in charge, because I think it's too much responsibility and power for a single individual to hold. But I think you still need like a commander or a king. Um, but he's like it's not that like king then council, it'd be king in the council. Do you know what I mean? Because like how I think it should work is like everybody should everybody should have equal like say and room to speak and like in a sense authority and power. But then you'd have to kind of like go delve into like authority and power. I mean, it's like it wouldn't be a democracy, I tell you that much. um but it'd be like the final say, hypothetically, like I said, if I was in charge, this is how I would do it. Hypothetically, once we've come to an agreement or a majority agreement, the king gets the main veto. Because the problem with a council is that you'll get infighting and you'll get like balances of power, and like even though no matter how fair you try to make it, there will be like problems, there will be imbalances. And how I think you solve that is you have within the ring of power, you have a head, a cornerstone. I know it's a circle, so there's no corners, but like you have like almost a small circle within the circle that makes the final decision. And once that final decision is made, that final decision is not questioned. Because once you make a move, you can't take it back, So like and there should be, as far as the public is concerned, there should be like I'm essentially talking about a monarchy, like a form of monarchy. But it wouldn't be inherited through bloodlines. It would be inherited and decided. It would be a monarchical meritocracy is what I would like. That's what came into my head just there, because I've never actually thought this shit out. I'm just thinking about it like on the fly. A monarchical meritocracy, where these people are called nobles because they behave in a noble fashion, but they are not selected through genetics or bloodline. They would have to be Irish, but they don't have to be from a particular clan or family or name, but they would have to be Irish. And the meritocracy aspect of it would be, there would be trials. There would be a psychological, physical, and like I suppose moral and psychological would kind of like overlap. But like there, vaguely, there would be 3 trials that you would have to pass: a physical trial, a mental trial and like a trial of the heart, you know, um, to determine your character. Once your character is determined to be, um, you know, worthy of such authority and station, um, then you essentially enter a tournament where they all battle out until you get a winner, you know. And I'm not talking about killing each other or anything. I'm just like, you can have a physical duel without anybody dying. You know, you get the guys who are the best fighters, the greatest minds, and the most noble of intent and heart, and like that's how you create this like high council, and the king at the center of the council is the guy who can kind of take them all on to a degree, you know. The rest of them are specialized in their stations, but the king can hold his own with all of them. You know, so the king is the king because he's the king, you know. Um he can hold his own philosophically, uh like well, not philosoph like intellectually, physically, and spiritually is probably how I'd end up breaking it down. He can hold his own intellectually, spiritually, and physically. So he's physically competent to the point where he can take on any member of the council to a degree. Like 1 out of 3 times he would beat them, even though they're the expert in their specialized station. He would still 1 in 3 times he would still take them out. Um, so he's capable of like intense, rigorous, comprehensive, um, like deeply complicated, sophisticated, intellectually rigorous debate, regardless of the subject matter. And he is like spiritually holistic in the sense that like he is like aware of himself. He knows who he is, and he is aware of the extremes of good and evil and the gray in between, and like how everything, like why the right thing to do is the right thing to do. Um, and then like he's a fucking like badass martial artist, you know. Like 1 out of 3 times he would beat like any guy in the ring, but then the other two he would probably lose because they are specialized in their station. Like, you know, that's how I would do it. That's the best, most like even like holistically constructed from the ground up. That's the best idea I could come up with. You know, none of this. Uh, what do they call it? Like democracy is basically a fucking population contest, popularity contest. Um, Monarchy through bloodlines ends up corrupt as well. Um, Dictatorships only work if the dictator just so happens to be a really good guy, and even then, that's a lot of um, like it's too much power for one individual, you know. Even though I can see how religion screwed up Ireland, you say your pastor doesn't wear a dress, and next thing you know, your car has a new clock. That's a hilarious way to put it. It's embarrassing and odd the wealth of material to pull from and the expanded material, but Disney would rather shit on the franchise over and over again and make less money too. Yeah, because it's not about money. It's about demoralization, divisiveness, and demonry. Because that, yeah, like you get to that stage in the truther sphere where you're like, but it's not even effective, and they're not even making money. Like, you know, this doesn't make any sense. Oh no, it makes sense. When your goal is the destruction of what it is to be human, then you're not worried about how much money you're making. Money's fairy dust. It's not even real. Like, you know what I mean, it's like when your goal, when your when your modus operandi is to create hell on earth, then you don't give a fuck about money. What you give a fuck about is stoking people's ire and wrath. You want people angry, sad, addicted, demoralized, in a state of victimhood, divided, um, gluttonous but starving, uh, physically unwell and mentally unwell, and spiritually illiterate. And there's probably a lot of other ones that I missed. But like you cover all the bases of like we want them weak, stupid, um, engaging in one of or more of the seven deadly sins at any given time. That's why porn is so ubiquitous and easily available. You make the food trash, you make the water trash. You convince people to drink all of this stuff except water. Like think about when you walk into a store and you see the drink section, and there's like all these different colors and all these different varying levels of sugar and electrolytes and salt and sodium is salt, but like fucking all these different chemicals and all this different shit. And then there's like three things of water, and then they're not even like great sources of water. They're like boiled, cleaned, chlorinated water. Like that's the purpose of it all. And you could look at it like Star Wars is just a microcosm of it, where it's like Star Wars is so big culturally on a global scale. They're like, oh, no matter the race, religion, or like social status or economic status, because they want to hit as many people. We want to reach a broader audience. Like that's how they think. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, how do we get everyone? How do we get as many people as possible on the tit in whatever way we can? It's not just dependent on government cheese. It's like they literally want you, like they want you to hate them. And then like you think about that, like why would somebody want that many people to want them dead, to like hate them? Because they feed on it. They're not human, they're demons. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's like they literally like they get energy from your hate. Like, I feel your anger. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that's how it works. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I can feel it. Like, dude, like just jizzing all over the place while people are standing outside with fucking pitchforks and torches and all. Like, like, yes, hate me. Like, it's kind of hilarious when you finally get to what I currently like can perceive as like essentially the end. Like when you get to the last rabbit hole and you realize that like the last rabbit hole is there is no rabbit hole kind of thing. The whole thing of like when you realize that there is no spoon, the spoon is you. Like that's what it is. It's all about free will. That's all. They can't force. The devil can't make you do it. You have to choose. God gave you free will. You have independent. You already have independence from the grid. You already have independence from these systems and from the demons and stuff. Like they'll do anything and everything to make you choose something that takes from your light and gives it to them. So that's why I'm big into the like Chinese shit, where it's like you cultivate an inner strength and an outer strength. It's not just about like hitting the gym and being jacked. You need to hit the gym in here and in here. Like, do you know what I mean? You need to hit the gym in your heart and your mind, where like you need to experience like deep, profound grief and like sadness as well as joy. Like that's why the monks would contemplate their own death at least once a day, because that's what made you appreciate life in every breath, you know. And that this is regardless of, well, the one true God. Like, you know, when we speak of God, who are we speaking about, and what, you know, and all this shit. Like, basically, all known religions have anthropomorphized God. Or God just so happens to be, you know, a dude, whether he's blue, covered in jewels, or whether he's a fucking hippie in sandals in a desert. It's still a man, you know. Jesus was God incarnate. Fuck off. Like, to me, he's probably just like a very well practiced, very well educated one of these like old mystic gnostic alchemy fuckers, like, do you know what I mean? And it makes sense that they call him the carpenter, because carpentry is carpentry, you can't lie in carpentry. It's like fighting. You can't lie in fighting, you can't lie in carpentry, like, do you know what I mean? If you lie, you lose. If you lie, the thing you built will fall, you know. So you can't lie. Has to be true, has to be flush, has to be sound. So, like, you know, it has to be sound. Fucking like that's what it is, you know. And like, I know we were just talking about Star Wars, but it's everything. It's Warhammer, Star Wars, The Boys, fucking Marvel, DC, fucking Emmerdale, Coronation Street, EastEnders, Friends, fucking everything, all of it, everywhere, all the time. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's everything. Like, now, obviously, there's exceptions to the rule where you can find people like, you know, like Owen Benjamin and the Bear community, and like, you know, that's what we are. And you got Tom Barnett and his Humble Kingdom. They seem pretty legit. Christopher Gardner and all the people from BioCharisma and the Innerverse podcast crowd, they seem cool. Even your man Narco Longo from Old World, Florida, he seems cool as fuck. And he seems more of a Gnostic, you know, occult thing, but like I'm down with that shit. I like that shit. Like, there's loads of people out there, and there's more and more popping up all over the internet all the time. And that's why the pendulum is starting to swing, and that's why they're getting so desperate to do stuff like the hantavirus on a fucking cruise ship and all. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, fucking, oh, that didn't fly. All right, tell them Ebola's back. Like, you know, it's the same shit. Like, I wish as well in your newfound totalitarian regime, but chances I come to visit are slim to none. Yeah, well, like, try and be more positive. I know, like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm never going to get over to America and see Demon Hunter, and get back to France and see Juju, or go to Canada and see you, or go to a bear festival in Idaho and meet Owen and Bowler Bear and NATO Bear and fucking Two Acre and all these, like, if you keep thinking it's gonna happen, then it'll happen. But I get that, like, you know, kids and job and money and fucking everything gets in your way, like, you know. I like some of Plato's ideas. He said something about the most intelligent people collectively running the country. You couldn't get voted in. Yeah, I don't know. Who decides, like, what's your metric for intellect? You know, that's why I would do like a tournament situation. I would have everybody battle it out so that the public can see who won and who is best. You would have to create. I'd gamify it. I would create a series of games like the nobles did. You know, similar to jousting and fucking sword fighting and whatnot. Like, but I would have like chess, like stuff like that. Like, Jimmy, like I would have strategy games, physical games, like, you know, you'd have games of intellect, games of morality, and games of physicality, and then whittle them, get the wheat from the chaff, whittle it all the way down till you have a few hundred dudes, and then do it again, and then you got like a few dozen dudes, and do it again. Right now you're left with like the best of the best in the country. like the strongest, smartest, most noble intent and greatest moral compass, and you've proven that through trials. That's like that's how I would do it. You can't just go, "Oh, the smartest people should run the country." It's like, yeah, okay, nerd, okay, yeah, we get it. Revenge of the Nerds and all that shit. Like, I get it. Like, fucking, oh, look at me, I'm so smart. I fucking typically the ones that are like really, 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 really intelligent are also physically incapable or physically incompetent. And like they tend not to have women in their lives and shit like that. Like the like hyper intellectual fucking nerd fuckers who are like recluses and shit. Like they're useful, they have their place, like, but like if they don't know how to make love to a woman competently, or they can't like take a beating or like fight well, um, then they have no place in like a high council situation, as far as I'm concerned. Like I would like every member of the council would be a fucking ninja. Like, like Jesus, be glorious. um, just out of interest, could one start a modified Islam religious setting in our newfound utopia with any of the bad parts taken out? Well, I would even be like, I would be reluctant to keep the Catholic, like I'd do it if, like, I'd have to think about the pros and cons of even keeping religion as it is. Like, I wouldn't want to take people's faith from them. I wouldn't want to be like, right, religion is now illegal. I wouldn't want to do that. I don't think that's the wise thing to do. But I would limit it drastically. And I think I get where you're coming from, where, like, part of me would want to create like a new religion. And I know that sounds very culty, but like part of me would want to take aspects of Hinduism, aspects of Islam, aspects of Christianity, aspects of what are they called? Hebrew and the Jewish faith. Because some of the Talmudic reasoning is like really intelligent, and so and the um the Torah is like in a lot of ways similar to the Bible, and they have very similar stories and shit. Like I would want to take aspects of all of them, and similar to what you're saying is like you like strip it down to their commonalities and their base take all of the good and get rid of all the bad, and create like a new unified symbol of like, it doesn't matter what aspect of the supernatural you believe in. If you want to believe in Ganesh, if you want to believe in Zarathustra or whatever, like, or if you want to, I think, like, personally, I think it'd be the moral thing to do to get rid of Muhammad. I mean, he was a fucking pedophile warlord, so like, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue in favor of keeping that shit. Um, and if people had a problem with it, they could get the fuck off the island, or they, have a long drop and a sudden stop. Um, Dude, you need a soundboard on this show. What you mean with like sound effects and shit? Yeah, probably. Yeah. We have like hundreds of our own AI songs already. Like, fucking, we could probably make a soundboard, a very rudimentary one, if we just had like sound effects in a separate Telegram chat that I could just like run up and down the list and just press them. But yeah, it wouldn't be nearly as effective as just having the buttons programmed in front of me. Like, I'd love a soundboard. It'd be brilliant. Fucking yeah, he's totally right. Now we're talking. Yeah, no, he's totally right. Like, a soundboard would be fucking brilliant. I don't really want religion either. If it was me, taking faith away is scary. Um, yeah, but you see, yeah, like that's why I'd wanna um, consolidate and consolidate and illuminate is how I would put it. You would consolidate all known religions into what works and what is like good, and then you would illuminate in the sense that you would like show all the bad aspects of each of them. Where it's like there's a reason we don't engage in cannibalism anymore, like you know, like stuff like that, and then like the whole pedophilia thing from Islam with Muhammad and stuff, and all um, like it would be a serious case of like, look, mistakes were made, you know, and we've learned a lot in the past like 2 millennia. So like, let's come up with like a new fucking like I know the Catholicism means like unified or something like or universal or whatever like that. Um, and essentially the Bible and Christianity like is an attempt. They're all attempts at like consolidating myths and legends and stories and lessons and and moralizing things. So like that's how I would approach it. I would just be like, look, I'm not against religion. I'm not against churches. Um, you want to build beautiful places of faith and healing, I'm all for it. Um, but like we need to like we need to like flesh it out and weed it. You know, you need to weed that garden. It's gotten like, you know, people have written down some heinous shit. Um, and like, didn't they do that? Like if the fucking Christians can have an Old Testament and a New Testament, do you know what I mean? Like, how can you have an Old Testimony and a New Testimony? Doesn't that like invalidate your original testimony? Like, isn't that how it works in the fucking courts? You know, would you testify in a court of law? Sure. And then you testify, and then a few hundred years later, you're like, well, actually, you know, it's like it's not how it works. Like, you testified, that's your testimony. Like, yeah, but I'd like to just redo. Can I get a redo? like, everybody deserves a second chance. Like, fuck off. Defenderism is going to be popular in niche internet micro celebrity circles. We are not buying an island. Like, we already have one. I appreciate your thoughts on my modified religion. Yeah, you're welcome. I love talking about this shit. If you can't tell, you know, like I said, I was gonna stop the stream like fucking an hour ago. Like, I agree with that approach of building a religion, flesh it out and weed it. Man, such a good point about the testaments. Also, if it's all from God, where did he go? Well, like, yeah, like that's been my main issue with like all known religions is when any like because the you should really look up a guy called Dylan Sakosio and read his series Spirit World. World as in like spinning, not world as in like the world. Dylan Sakosio, Spirit World. There's 5 of them. I need to read them again because I can't remember most of the shit. Like, but he approaches things from language and he goes through the etymological root of things, right? And basically, when you look at the priest class in society, the priest class is like one of the highest classes in society where like nobody questions religion, you know, because of the way religion works and shit. Like, you know, like even the government, especially in places like America, you just take America as an example, even the government is like they reference God. The courts reference God, the government references God, the money, God is on the money. Like, do you know what I mean? But it's which god and from whose perspective and like and all this shit. Like, do you know what I mean? And I don't know about you, but when some guy comes back and when some sheep herder comes back, to the village and tells you that a burning bush told him things, I have questions. Like, it's like I saw God. Like, yeah, what does he look like? Well, it was a bush and it was on fire and I could hear his voice. Okay, have you been eating the mushrooms on the poo again? Like, like it's just. Can we please have some rational, logical debates about this shit? Like, on his holidays, hence the later testament. Like, it's wild, you know. God told me, okay, nigga. Like, fucking, like, no, like, you know. That's what, like, if I was gonna have religion in society, it'd be honest religion. It'd be like, God has never spoken to me. I've never heard a voice in my head. Do you know what I mean? Like, and even when I, in quotes, hear voices in my head or I experience thoughts, I don't hear anything. You know? If I did, I would, you know, I was like, burning bush was psychoactive. Yeah, I'm telling you now, like, fucking, like, so like all religion is like stemmed from fucking one nigga's DMT trip like fucking 2,000 years ago. Anyway, I need to go. I need to make the fucking dinner and shit. It's like 10 to 8. The missus is probably like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, what day is today? Tuesday? Tomorrow. Right, I'll be back tomorrow. Moses was definitely burning some bush. Yeah. Just like wait till the villagers hear about this shit. Like, it's fucking hilarious. Anyway, right. God bless. I'll talk to you soon. Fucking be good, be true, and be beautiful. And I will see you soon. And pay for painting you, mortal swine. Huh?